Well, hey there, welcome to 3-Minute Thursdays. Now, here's how 3-Minute Thursdays is going to work. Not every Thursday, but some Thursdays, I'm gonna come at you with 3 quick tips for your business, and I'm gonna give those quick tips to you in under 3 minutes. Can it be done? Let's find out. Today, we're talking all about how to improve your client experience. Now, why would you want to improve your client experience? First of all, because you want happy clients. You want clients that are going to refer you. You want clients that are going to come back and be repeat clients. And you want clients that are more than happy to give you testimonials. All of those reasons are why we want to improve our client experience. It doesn't take a lot to do that. So here are the 3 quick tips that I'm going to give you today on how to improve your client experience. Tip number 1 is to figure out what's most important to your client and what success looks like for your client. An easy way to do this would be to actually, ask your client. So what I like to do, especially on a discovery call and then reiterate it on your kickoff call with a client, is to simply ask them, what does success look like in this relationship to you? The other question that you can ask in addition to that is something around, in the past when you've had team members, what was great? What do you want more of? And what was not so great? What do you want less of? Once they give you those answers, you'll be able to gauge what's important to them. Because maybe you are super big on lots of communication, but that's not something that they're going to kind of see as super important, right? That's not necessarily their love language. But maybe they've reiterated that maybe their last support provider wasn't so great on proofreading things. And so you immediately know that that's one of those things that are important to them. So you are going to elevate that and make that a priority in terms of when you're sending them work. Double or triple or quadruple check, have somebody else check before you send it to them because you realize that that's important to them. Once you make what's important to them important to you, they will see that you'll be able to speak to them in their specific love language, and they'll be able to see that you are trying for that. Tip number 2 is to set clear expectations and boundaries. Now, I am huge when it comes to boundaries, and I want to start and make sure that everybody is on the same page. So what I like to do is layer in those boundaries. Now, this is up to you to kind of get started. You need to be able to make sure that you are setting your preferences as your policies because this is your business that you're running, right? So what I mean by that is when do client communications happen and what platforms do client communications happen in? What is your turnaround time for work? What is your response time for communications that do happen? When are your working hours? All of those sorts of things need to be reiterated again and again and again. And so I like to do a layering approach. What I mean by that layering approach is the fact that I am going to state that somewhere on my website so that if somebody comes to my website, they can see that right from there. I'm going to have the beginning of that conversation in the discovery call. I'm going to have it again during the kickoff call. It's going to be in my new client welcome packet. It's going to be in the contract, right? So there is no gray area in terms of like, oh, I didn't know, because you have stated it multiple times. Once you set those preferences as your policies and are clear on boundaries and expectations, there's going to be times when your clients push back with those boundaries. Make sure that you're setting them and holding to those boundaries so that there's no leeway or gray areas in terms of that. And finally, tip number 3, drop the jargon. What do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of times we forget how much we know. We are the expert in the room when it comes to whatever you're an expert in, right? And so a lot of times we come to our client and we forget that like they're not an expert in what we're an expert in. That's why they hired us. So take the time to explain what you need to explain to your client in words that they will understand. Have you ever been to a doctor's appointment and they're spewing all of these like doctor-like terminology and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, it's the same thing when it comes to our clients. I have to remind myself of that. I have to remind my team of that a lot because the reason that our clients come to us is because we're the expert in launching. They're not an expert in launching, and that's okay. But we need to remember that all of the jargon that we use between our team or with other colleagues isn't going to work for our clients. I want you to think about simplifying them, meeting them where they're at, not overloading them with too much information, and definitely not overloading them with too much jargon. That was the end of your 3-Minute Thursday. Hope you enjoyed, and be back soon.